Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be updating my presidential election prediction from September because a lot has changed in the last month. And so I'm going to be going in detail and looking at the toss up states and the lean states, and I'm going to go west to east. So I'm going to start with the state of Nevada. Now, I'm not changing Nevada from lean Biden, but I do think it's interesting to note that Trump has been campaigning in Nevada pretty hard. And so I think Nevada actually is more in play than I was thinking before, because if Trump didn't have a chance in Nevada, he'd probably just be campaigning up here and in Arizona and Florida. But in Nevada, he actually is campaigning, which makes me think there's a chance he's going to win it. But I do still think he's going to lose it, probably by around 2 points or 3 points. But I do think it's going to be a lot closer than I initially thought. As for Arizona, early voting has been looking a lot better for Republicans in Arizona than I think anyone expected. And so I think Arizona is actually going to go to the right of the polling numbers, which contrasts what it did 4 years ago. It went a little bit to the left of polling numbers. I don't think Trump's going to win it still, but I am going to move it into tilt Democrat. I think Biden's probably only going to win by 1 point, maybe even less. Yeah, it's going to be a lot closer than I thought before. I had Texas as tilt Republican, but I'm changing that to lean Republican because early voting in Texas has really the Republicans are really ahead in early voting and early mail-in stuff, and so I don't think Trump's gonna win it by a tiny margin. I think he's probably gonna win it by 5 points or so, which is a lot greater margin than I was anticipating about a month ago. When I said he was probably going to win it by a little less than 2 points. I think he's probably going to win it by around 5 points, and it could even get into a likely margin. But for now, I think it's staying lean. And I think Texas will probably be in play in 2024, but I think in this election, it's relatively safe to say that Trump's going to win. In Nebraska, I'm changing Nebraska's second district from tilt red to tilt blue because polling there has just had Trump down from where he was 4 years ago. And he's kind of having bad relations with the senator from Nebraska, Ben Sass, and I think any Nebraskans who see that and are fans of Ben Sass, they'll probably either sit out from voting for Trump or vote for Joe Biden. Probably more likely to be the former, but either way, that gives Biden more of an advantage, and so I do think Biden's very narrowly going to take this district, maybe by less than 1%, but I do think he's going to get it. In the state of Minnesota, I'm not changing its characterization as lean Democrat, but I am going to note that in the Iron Range up here, which has traditionally been a very Democratic area, a lot of Democratic mayors are endorsing Trump, and the whole area just kind of as a whole is looking like it's going to be more Republican than in years prior. But I think that in other areas of Minnesota, it's probably going to trend left enough for Joe Biden to probably win this state by around 2 or 3 points. But I thought just that was something interesting to note. I'm moving the state of Wisconsin from lean blue to tilt red because of early voting, similar to down here where I've kind of made it better for Donald Trump. I think the similar thing is going to happen in Wisconsin. I do think Trump's going to win Wisconsin now. He is a little bit behind in early voting, but not behind as much as a lot of people predicted, and it looks like the Democrats aren't really going to be able to make up the margin in Wisconsin. It's going to be more of an uphill battle for them than they anticipated, and so I do think Donald Trump is now the favorite to win Wisconsin. I think he's going to win it very narrowly, maybe even by less than 1% like he did in 2016. But I do think he's going to narrowly get it. I'm also moving the state of Michigan to the right, but I'm not moving it to tilt Republican. I'm moving it to tilt Democrat for the same reason. Early voting has looked a lot better for Republicans in Michigan than anyone really anticipated. And I don't think Trump's going to win this state this time around again, like he did 4 years ago. But I think he's going to do better than a lot of people are expecting. I think he's probably only going to lose Michigan by a point or maybe a point and a half, but it's going to be a lot closer than anyone thinks, and the early voting is kind of showing that Republicans were ahead for a little bit, but then more Democrat early voting returns came in, and so I do think the Democrats are probably going to win it very narrowly. But yeah, it's going to be a lot closer than anyone thought. In Florida, I'm not changing its characterization as tilt Republican, but I wanted to note that voter registration in Florida has looked really good for Trump, and like the Republicans have closed the gap in voter registration by like 200,000 since 2016, and I'll probably make another video on it, like in the future. But I do think Trump is in pretty good shape to win Florida, and I don't really think that Biden should even campaign here because he doesn't need it, and I don't think he really has that good of a chance of winning it. And I think Florida could be lean Republican, but I'm gonna keep it in the tilt Republican column for now. Now, while early voting has looked good for Trump and Republicans as a whole in most of the country, in Pennsylvania, Trump is getting killed in early voting. He's losing by like 50 points in the early vote returns, and it's looking very good for Democrats in Pennsylvania. And so I'm moving Pennsylvania to tilt Democrat because I just don't think that there is any way for Donald Trump to come back in this state just by how much he's being killed in Pennsylvania right now in early voting. Now, again, as in Florida, the voter registration gap between Democrats and Republicans has gotten way smaller, and that makes me think there is still a little bit of a chance for Trump to win Pennsylvania, but this early voting is just he's getting demolished in Pennsylvania. And so I do think Biden's probably going to win narrowly still, but I do think it's going to be blue instead of red, like I previously predicted. Finally, I wanted to move Maine's second district from likely Republican to lean Republican, and that's just because I think Maine as a whole in this election is probably going to go further left than it did in 2016, just because Trump isn't campaigning there as much, and so I don't think he's really trying to win it, and so it's probably going to go left since he's not like campaigning there. And so I do think Maine's second district is still going to vote for him, but I don't think it's going to be by that much. And so this is my current prediction of the 2020 United States presidential election, which is only 15 days away now, which is crazy. And so I do think Joe Biden's going to win 280 to 258. So even though I think that the popular vote total has gotten better for Trump, I do think the electoral tally has gotten worse. I do think Joe Biden's going to win this election very narrowly in these states up here. And really, the only states I do think are really still in play are the Rust Belt up here: Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Arizona, and maybe Nevada. But otherwise, I think like everything's pretty set in stone, and I think the candidates really should only be campaigning in those 5 or 6 states because that's what decides the election. And so I just wanted to end with that. Thanks for watching. If you like, leave a like and subscribe and comment and tell me what you think about my map and what you think it would be different and what you agree on. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.